Um, no, that's not what I was trying to do at all. Gosh, sometimes I feel like I am the person who is tech challenged in my world. And that it never used to be that way, but I suppose I am of an age where that's just the way it is now. Pages was never something I got familiar with. All right, so here we go. Here's what we're going to talk about today. For those of you who are curious, what is she up to? Where is this going? How is this all breaking down? Today, we're going to do three main things together. We're going to do some astrological guidance for you personally based on how this energy is going to show up in your chart. So, you are going to need a copy of your astrology chart to work together today. It'll be very helpful if you have that. If you don't worry. I'm going to show you how to get it momentarily here. Okay. Now, the second thing we're going to do is I'm going to share some channeled guidance that I've received about the way these astrological patterns are going to play out for twin flames, twin souls, the divine counterpart collective. Whether you call it a high level soulmate or something else, the label isn't what's important. What we're talking about here and the people I'm speaking to today are those of you who feel like you've been activated by love. You've had an experience of love that has permanently changed who you are, how you experience connection, and the way you're wanting to show up in life. If that's you, you're in the right place. And we're going to talk about how what my guide showed me is a union window 2022 through 2023. We're going to talk about how the patterns showing up in this year are meant to help you experience more love. And then the final thing we're going to do today is close with some open question and answers about the information I'm sharing with you today, and a chance for you to ask your personal questions of my guidance team for the collective as well. All right. So if that all sounds good to you, if you'd just be willing to give this video a thumbs up or let me know in the chat, like, hey, that sounds great. I've been looking forward to this. That would be amazing. Be wonderful if I could be in a classroom with you guys and see all your faces and share this energy with you. But I'm really hoping that even though we can't be together in person, this virtual connection will break the isolation that you may be feeling moving through. To be about 1.5 to 2 hours long. Okay. So I want to prepare you for that. Get yourself some water, get your tea, get a notebook or something to take notes with, and get comfortable. I promise you're going to leave our conversation today with at least one aha moment that validates your own intuition and your own journey so you can feel less alone as you work with the energies. Because these union window energies that I've been talking about, they've been intense for so many people since the start of the year. And astrologically, I'm going to be real honest with you, there is no let up in sight between now and the end of the year. It's going to be more intensity, just so you're clear. However, when you have illumination about what the work is, it can be a lot easier, even though it's intense. Okay. Now, this will be a bit of an interactive session. So I want you to feel free to share when you hear something that resonates for you in the live chat box, because I've got the chat box open. I'd love to hear your thoughts, that kind of thing. And I'm going to take all questions at the end of the session. So if you have questions as you go, I want you to write them down. And then when we get to the end of the session, paste those questions in the chat box after we finish the content, as the scroll feature is only going to allow me to see everything from the past 15 minutes, 10 minutes worth of chat conversation. And I will lose your question if you're typing it in now and you're not able to share it with me when we get to the end of the session. But let me start off this session by asking you some questions. I want to know something from you. If you could share this with me in the chat box. I want to know if this year you've had any of the experiences that I'm about to share. And if you have, type yes in the chat box for me or drop me an emoji combo that describes how you feel about what has transpired. All right? Get your emojis ready. I want to see some emojis here in the chat. So, first thing, during the Venus retrograde, did any of the following experiences happen for you? Now, Venus retrograde occurred December, January, and February. The energies were very active during that time. During that Venus retrograde, did either you or a counterpart have an aha moment about where you're at in your connection and what needs immediate attention in order for the connection to move an inch further? And that could have happened in a number of ways. Divine Cosmonaut says, I'm just going to say yes now. No problem, Flower. I'll see you at another live. Hey, Conscious Connection, great to have you here. All right, here's one of the ways that Venus retrograde might have hit. Number one, a soulmate could have come back into the picture on either side of your connection. And one or the other person in the connection was deeply triggered by it, either because of unfinished business with that person or because of what they made that person's arrival mean. Venus retrograde is notorious for bringing exes back from the past. And this Venus retrograde was linked up with Pluto in some heavy ways. And likely because of Pluto's influence, this particular ex would have come in with financial ties and or some toxicity that just triggered everyone. If that happened, let me get a yes in the chat box or see an emoji combo around how that felt for you. Another thing that might have transpired during the Venus retrograde is a financial problem may have come up from the past that hadn't been fully resolved. And the shame and or fear pertaining to that resurgence of the financial problem caused breakdowns in connection, disrupted communication, stopped you from feeling like you are able to share transparently, got in the way of you being able to take next steps like buy a house, move in together, buy a car, do things you needed to do financially in the connection because one or the other had some financial challenges from the past that resurfaced. If that happened, let me get a yes in the chat or let me see some emoji combinations that let me know exactly how you feel about that happening for you. Yeah, I see. Got it. Blue Flame says, yes, and I'm still dealing with it. You started with the house. Very good. Very good, Paulina. And I see lots of emojis that are like, yeah. All right. During that Venus retrograde, here's a third thing that may have happened. December, January, February, there could have been a self-esteem or self-worth trigger come up, and a hard mirror was revealed to you about why things stand where they stand for you in the world of love and connection or in the world of your earning power. Hard mirror showed up and said, this is your problem. This is why you're here. This is why you are stuck making X amount of dollars, or this is why you're in the place where you're having this experience in the world of love. That would have shown up hardcore, bright lights on it, full stage, full microphone in December, January, or February. Okay, got it. Limiting beliefs about worthiness. Yes, all of this. Okay, so Venus and Pluto were linked tightly during that Venus retrograde at the beginning of the year. And when they showed up, they showed us all of our shadows around love, connection, and money so that we could finally do some Plutonian things with those shadows, move them through a resurrection cycle, put them to an end, move through an integration process. That's that afterlife energy, and then have a rebirth. That's what Pluto does. It creates resurrection energy with anything it touches. And during the Venus retrograde, it was all about love and money, self-worth, self-esteem, and values. So thank you guys for letting me know that these things really resonated for you. That was how we started this year, with all of this intensity. Here we are. So let me know if any of these things happened for you during the May period of time, the April-May period, okay? So we had some transits of Jupiter hanging out in Pisces. So here's Jupiter, our friend in red here, okay? During this period of time in the April-May period, maybe you had some of the following experiences. Again, type in the chat yes if in fact you experienced what I'm about to share, or hit me with an emoji combo that lets me know it happened and how you felt about it happening. All right. The first thing that you might have noticed is a lot of watery energy in your life, including heightened intuition, heightened dream state information, heightened emotionality, feeling like your emotions were all over the place, pulled in so many directions in April and May. Okay. If that's something that happened, that's heightened watery energy, Jupiter and Pisces, let me know. You see, Jupiter is joined by many friends here in Pisces, not just himself. It's a function of a Pisces stellium. There could have also been loads of creativity and artistic expression and inspiration and kind of new artistic ideas coming through for you, seemingly almost out of nowhere, or as a way of channeling all this watery, emotional, intuitive energy. If all my artists are here, if you're in the chat, hit me with a yes or some sort of emoji combo that lets me know what that felt like for you if all of these things were going on. Okay. Now, what we also had going on, if you had this stuff happening, could have been straight up fatigue or depression. For my water sign people, if you've got heavy water energy in your chart already, lots of Pisces, lots of Cancer, lots of Scorpio, this might have been a period of time where you just felt over inundated, flooded with water during that April-May period of time. Yes, Mystic Rose, spontaneous crying, you totally get it, okay? All right, now here's another way this energy could have expressed itself during April and May. You could have had the experience of a new love or a renewed love connection, as we've got Jupiter and Venus, the two soulmates, the soulmate of the divine masculine sitting there, and Juno and Mars sitting together, the soulmate of the divine feminine sitting there. This combo in April and May made love in the air. There was a chance for do-overs in the world of love, or you may have found yourself particularly attractive, sparkly, desirable, interesting to dating prospects during this period of time, where it was like all of a sudden, everybody wants you. If that happened for you, let me see some emojis there in the chat that let you know that, okay, yep, I was on track for this year. I had that specific experience of intensity, or let me see a yes. Shannon says yes. Queen of Water says she did it all. Totally. Pauline says May, she came out of isolation and back to herself with a surge of energy. MP started dating. Divine Cosmonaut met a soulmate and twin came in. Amazing. Yes, Conscious Connection Tarot with the nails. I love it. You guys get it. Okay, amazing. All right, so we've had two specific periods of major intensity. One was filled with a lot of mirrors. The second was filled with someone who showed up to then begin the process of working with us in that mirrored state. Now we're going to fast forward into the now time. The third energy for this year that we're all experiencing in the now time, the June-July window of time. So let's get into the let's get into today. Really, what is today? 7/21. Awesome. All right. Now we're going to get into today's show. Queen of Water says she started to see unauthentic truths more. Yes, Queen of Water, you beat me to the punch time, because these springtime transits, or sorry, these summertime transits of Uranus and the North Node hanging out here in the sign of Taurus is revealing everybody's true colors, their true depths, and the way we truly feel about it. All of this is coming to the surface now. And let me know in the chat with a yes or some emoji combos how this has felt for you during this period of time. You would have noticed an increasing internal pressure to make long shown to you and extraordinarily necessary changes in the world of work, money, love, or relationship. And it would have forced you into actually valuing yourself or your physical body vehicle in a much better way than you have ever done it before. And that can include any of the following things: starting a new exercise regime, beauty or self-care regimen that you've always wanted to do but never took on, changing your hair, getting a tattoo, that kind of thing. That kind of thing is totally par for the course during this period of time. You could have also felt during this time like it was time to deal with an addiction or deal with a person you're close to who has an addiction in a new way, so that you can finally put an end to the toxicity in your life if it was impacting you in toxic ways. Let me see some emoji combos here in the chat if you guys have actually experienced some of that. Sarah says, well, I feel called out. Hey, baby, guess what? You're in great company. Look here at the chat. Melanson 5 lost 14 pounds, changed eating completely, right? Full time now, no more nursing. Good for you, Christine. Right on. Amber starts rock climbing. Right on. Okay, let me hear if some of these other things happen. Finally opening your business or getting business opportunities that have put you and your unique gift on the map. This would have been something that would have occurred during this June, July period. You could have also left or been released from a job that did not value your unique gifts to begin with. And I think that's what Christine was saying. Yeah, very good. Finding a way to earn extra money, doing new things with your money savings wise, investing money in yourself or some way that would up level your appearance or your value in the job market. Anonymous is saying, yep, working on my business right now. Transforming shadows. So many business opportunities. Boom, out of nowhere. JB, yep, just figured out my online coaching business idea. Nice. France got ideas for something new. Just Bridget had her business using her gifts starting up. Very good. Okay. And lastly, you may have noticed during this June, July period of time that there are certain behavioral patterns that you have when it comes to dating, mating, and relating that have to change if you want to experience love, or certain relationship attachments that have to be released so that healthier behavioral patterns can foster healthier relationships. Let me see some fire in the chat if you guys have seen this in your lives. Let me know. Let me know. Because the reality is all of these, there's a reason we've got all of this going on. It's a setup. It's an important setup for all of us. And this Uranus North Node combo is bringing us into a completely new chapter of our lives. But in order to get to the new, we've got to release the old. Let's see what's going on here. Nancy says, huge level up, thinking about work and money. Flower has the money with the wings. JB says, ending of codependency and worthiness around my father issues. Amen. Lots of fire in the chat. Yes. Scarlett says she asserted her needs for the first time ever. Lily is learning to delay gratification. Christine is like, you guys are making me feel more normal. I love you. I love it too, Christine. This is fantastic. Yes. Okay. So if you're seeing these patterns unfold in your life or in your counterpart or loved ones' lives, could be your children, could be a spouse, could be a friend, they're doing some of the things we've just chatted about. The reality is many of these things have been back of mind for all of us for at least a year, if not more. But this Uranus North Node thing is having all of us go into, okay, now, something has to shift now. And so this is what that urgency, that pressure has been. And if we've been resisting the change, we're going to find that we're going to create internal toxicity while we wait for the universe to change it for us. I hate it when the universe changes my life for me. I would rather just do it my way. Thanks for letting me know it's time to renovate. I'll handle it, universe. I'll take it from here. So there's a huge reason that all of this is happening. And I'm going to talk about this as we get into this new union window information. So I want you to remember here that Uranus and the North Node in Taurus, the role of Uranus for all of us in the world, Uranus represents the energy of the divine initiator. Uranus is the original divine counterpart that was created by Gaia herself to be her partner because she was lonely and wanted companionship. She was sick of just birthing her own babies, and her gift was the gift of manifestation. So she manifested for herself a partner. That partner wrapped around her body, and that partner was known as the heavens, Uranus, and together they co-created and made magic. They made their own new divine beings that populated Gaia's body. So when Uranus comes into play here for us on Earth, when Uranus is on the move in your chart, what Uranus is trying to do is quantum leap you from what you've had to what you're going to be, to what you are today, to what you have been trying to get to tomorrow. Uranus is trying to move you along the path and shake you out of the shackles of your habituated thinking and behaviors so you can finally get along to the divinity that's meant to be expressed through you happening in real time. It brings through new ideas, new technology, quantum leaps forward that are meant to advance those on Earth. Okay, so this Uranus North Node thing, the North Node is the direction of growth. Uranus here, they're meeting up together. This is rare. They don't meet up all the time. They meet up, I don't know how often it is, but it's less than once a decade. Let me put it that way. There's very few opportunities for energies like this to come into our lives and radically transform and shift us. And this is one of them. It's a breakthrough point. Okay. So it's not an accident that the original divine counterpart is having this happen just before, just before the two divine counterparts meet up in the sky. So let's get into what that's going to look like. So I spoke about this at length last year, but if you're new to my channel, don't worry, I'm going to do a quick overview and then I'm going to leave a link below this video so you can catch up. We have what's called a union window for twin souls, divine counterparts, high-level soulmates. You fill in the blank with the label that's coming up. And it's coming up in January. Well, the peak is coming up in January, but these union windows where Juno, the divine masculine counterpart, Zeus, and his wife in astrology, Hera, aka Juno, are coming together right here in the sign of Aries at the 4th degree as of January 23rd, 2023. For everyone. Okay. So I want you to write that date down, January 23rd, 2023. This is when the two divine counterparts meet up in the sky, and they don't do this very often. When they come together, it's a once an average 7-year event. Might happen every 6, might happen every 8, but on average, it's a once in 7-year event when these two meet up in the sky and conjunct. And this, the last time they did it was 2015. The next time they're going to do it is 2028. They're already, the influence of this energy is already unfolding, and you can feel this energy. My guides were telling me you can feel, if you are one of the activated by divine love, you're going to be able to feel this energy 1 year to the date on either side. So 1 year prior to January of 2023, that 1 year is beginning in January of 2022. And what did we just talk about happening in January of 2022? Boom, Venus retrograde conjunct Pluto, lights on, microphone, full blast on the stage. Here's what you need to correct if you want love to work in your life. This is energy can be felt all the way 1 year after January 23rd of 23. So that brings us into January 23rd of 2024. Okay. So you're going to be able to feel this for the remainder of this year and well into next year. It's a 2-year window of time where there's this pull between divine counterparts that is loud inside of your internal energy and prompting you to take steps to remove your personal blockages between yourself and the experience of divine love. And I want to make sure I make one very important distinction for those of us who understand ourselves to be divine counterparts. There's always 3 energies in the connection. There's you, there's them, and then there's the energy of the connection themselves. And what's happening, the way you're feeling pulled, the way you're feeling triggered, the way you're feeling activated, it is not them doing anything. It is simply the energy of the connection, the energy of divine love, moving you toward itself so that you can experience it regardless of the body that it's going to show up in. Okay. So many times I hear people in their language, in their thinking, conflate what they're experiencing as being the fault of the counterpart, as opposed to attributing it to the energy of the connection on the move, bringing them home to the heart of love itself. And is when you can make that distinction that it's not them, it's the connection, it's the way the energy comes together and alchemizes, you can stop being in a place of feeling victimized by what's happening. Okay. It's a very important distinction. I really hope you all got that. Please replay it for yourself if that's a distinction that you've been missing. Okay. So I see a lot of you are in the chat going, oh my gosh, this has been so intense. The energy is pulling us apart. I saw Kylie, you made the little throwing away in the recycling bin emojis come together. So there's a reason why it's all so intense, and we're going to get into this. And I'm sharing this information with you guys today because there's a reason so many of you have struggled, and my clients as well, to understand why during a union window, their counterpart and them would fall out of communication or fall out of connection. We're going to get to all of that in a moment. Now, remember I said that these 2 counterparts are going to meet up here in the Aries. So for all of you who are listening in the chat, and any of you who know, you don't need to know a lot. You just need to know a little bit. Type for me in the chat what you understand the light side of Aries to represent. What beginnings? Yes. Start up. That's right. That's right. Boldness, initiative, courage. Yes. Activation, trailblazing. Yes. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. And as the first sign of the zodiac, its energy talks about that I amness. It is the energy of the individual. It is the energy of uniquely being a self. It is the energy of selfhood. Now, I want you to start putting these pieces together. Uranus is activating everyone the year before this happens in Taurus, the sign of self-worth, self-esteem. Then the divine counterparts are coming together in, guess what? First sign of the zodiac, the sign of the self. As you guys know, the divine love that twins experience is so desperately needed on planet Earth at this time when people are standing for separation consciousness as if it is a right way to be here on Earth. Divine love says it is unity and union consciousness that actually is what is going to heal us. And it is twin flames, twin souls, divine counterparts, high level soulmates. Call it what you want to call it. It is those of us who are activated by love who are bringing this unity consciousness forward in a time of supreme separation and divisive consciousness. We are needed now more than ever. And what this union window is doing as it's speaking into your heart, speaking into your soul, calling you toward the connection, right? Calling you toward the connection. It's calling you toward it so that you can do the work you need to do personally, Aries self, I am, to disarmor yourself from love, to step out onto the battlefield, drop your sword, drop your shield, drop your armor, and say, love is what matters here. Love is what is going to heal this. Okay? The call is to come into that Aries energy union with self so that you can be a stronger anchor for love here on Earth. The disarming is about finding our personal barriers to living a life of love. Aries, sign of self. Find those personal barriers so that you can be a living, breathing example and embodiment of leadership and love. Okay. Now, if you guys are getting this, if you're like, oh, if light bulbs are coming on for you, let me hear it in the chat. Show me some light bulb emojis. Talk to me in the chat if you're like, oh, I get it now. Because essentially what's going on here is the connection draws you toward it. But in Aries, it is presenting that mirror to you about where your personal blocks are in love so that you can drop them, Aries energy, and begin the process of allowing love in the way love wants to come in your life. Kim says, the way I'm understanding this is that this time now is for ourselves to be authentic beings. Yes, Aries is nothing if not authentic. You cannot get an Aries to be someone they are not, even if you paid them. They don't have the ability. It's not in their makeup. This is why the sign is associated with the statement, I am. Amazing. Very good. So this information is going to be helpful, especially for those of you who have been scratching your head and going, why is it during this union window, my counterpart and I would fall out of communication? Because there would have been a revelation and divine insight. The whole first half of the year provided it. Revelation and divine insight about what requires healing before another inch in love can be gained. So many of my clients have been wondering why they may have taken a step forward in their connection that was more authentic and more real, but that only led to a separation. It's because separation was actually 100% authentic and what was necessary for both people to start to heal and get their ish together. For my clients who've been wondering why during a union window would I feel such a strong pull? when I haven't spoken to my counterpart in years. And it's because the lesson that was on deck when you guys were in separation never got completed. The two of you just exited the classroom and put the connection on pause. Union window is saying, pick this back up. It needs your attention. You need to heal this now. And even for those who are in union, it can feel as if the triggers are pushing them almost away from one another, because what the triggers are trying to do is force them into deeper roots so that at the right time in their connection, that connection can truly bear fruit. When the roots are shallow, the fruit is minimal. And in union, it only becomes more obvious when there is not enough work being done on yourself. And for my clients who have wondered why during a union window would I feel like I have to walk away from my connection? And it's because somehow, some way, the current way the two of you are running the energy and interacting with the energy of the connection, it's causing you to undermine, degrade, and deride the way you run your energy for yourself. And this is going to be especially true for people who have been overly giving, have lacked boundaries in the connection, who have struggled with being able to be a full self and activate their mission work in the connection. And they've tried to put the connection in front of themselves. This would have been a reason why during a union window, specifically this one, you would have had the experience of being moved into a separation so that you can deepen union with self. All right. Aries, again, sign of the self. So I'm going to say this for the people who have really wondered, am I doing this wrong? Or who have felt like I can't be in this connection right now, even though it's a union window, and started to wonder, was this even real to begin with? Did I make this connection all up? For the people who are listening, who have been wondering or thinking quietly and in shame and silence to themselves, I failed. I failed as a twin. My twin and I have failed in this lifetime. Maybe some other lifetime we'll figure it out. Maybe some other lifetime we'll get it together. For those of you who have felt like divine love will never happen or manifest for me here in the third dimension, I'm just going to have to settle for something else. I'm just going to have to settle for singlehood, settle for something that's good enough, but not the real thing. If this is where you have been at, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not doing it wrong. You're not doing it wrong. You're not doing it wrong. I promise you. You are not doing it wrong. You are doing it exactly the way your soul and theirs needs it to be to take that next step in evolutionary love. Okay? You're doing it exactly right. This union with self energy, while the pull and the connection is so loud, it's intense, it's hard, and it's okay. You're not alone. So many of my clients are finding themselves in the experience of recognizing here's all this pull toward the connection, and the connection just keeps forcing me to be with myself. And the reason for that is because the divine counterparts are meeting up in the sign of the self. That's Aries. I promise you. So before we close out today, I'm going to give you a way to really work with this energy and not just work with it alone, because this is the problem. Aries energy, when it's in its shadow, is lone wolfing it. It's trying to do everything for itself, by itself, and not actually get support or not actually support other people. It's busy in the world of self-absorption, and that is shadow Aries energy. It wants to take it all on its back by itself. That is shadow Aries energy, and that is actually not going to work. In this particular period of time, if you want to grasp this union with the connection and love and the teachings of love for yourself, what you have to do is you need to work it with other people while connecting with yourself. The most powerful ways of understanding who we are come when we are being ourselves with other people. And I'm going to give you a way to do that before we close out. Okay. So make sure you listen until the end so that you understand why the next step is so critical. Okay. Love it. Okay. There we go. That's what you're looking for. You're either looking for this or you're looking for something that literally says Aries. Okay. And in this example chart that I have, this chart has Aries on house 1 and house 2 as well. That's the first house. This is the second house. So now we're going to get into each of the houses and what they mean. So my house 1 people, where are you guys at? Where are you guys at? My house 1 people, my Aries ascendant, Aries rising people. Union for you is taking place in that first house. And that first house is going to be all about union with self. That first house is the house of the self. That first house is all about finding yourself, being yourself, your authentic self expression, the embodiment of who you are. Who are my Aries first house people? For you, the triggers are going to show up on the 1-7 axis. The biggest triggers for my first house people, if you've got Aries here, the biggest triggers for you are going to come through your 7th house, which is relationships. Your biggest triggers are going to come from one-to-one partnerships. Your biggest triggers are going to come from the experience of dealing with one other person in a way that allows you to be, equals or partners or working together. Could be business, could be romantic partnership. Where you have the Aries first house, the triggers are going to come from a partnership. That's your mirror. It's the opposite sign or the opposite house to you. What it's trying to do is get you to see who you are. It's getting you to be with where you're at. It's trying to get you to understand what you need. It's getting you to express your authenticity. That's what the union window for the Aries first house is doing. It's trying to help you get to a place where you are being all of yourself. Okay. That's for the first house people. Let me see. There we go. Now let's talk about my Aries second house people. Where are my second house people at? You guys have Aries in this area here. Where are my second house people? Because you guys have a very different journey going on. Similar, but not the same. Coming into union with self in the second house is a whole new animal. Very cool. You're welcome, Hope Glitterati. You're so welcome. Okay. When you've got Aries on this second house, what you're dealing with here, the second house is the house of self-worth. It is self-esteem. That second house has everything to do with your earned income and the way you value yourself in the world. It has everything to do with the way you make money. So if this is your Aries house placement, house 2. Who are my second house people? Where are you at? Isha's in the house. Hope Glitterati's a house 2. Very good. Jessica's a house 2. Very nice. Okay. Kylie's a house 2. Good. All my second house people, what you're going to be working on in this coming into union with self energy this year and next year is all about how you value yourself in the world and orienting yourself to work in a way that allows you to look in the mirror and respect who you are. It allows you to feel like life is choosing you and valuing you for your personal uniqueness. That's what you're going to be working with when you've got Aries in the second house. Your triggers are going to come from house 8. What is house 8? Triggers from house 8 are all about fears, fears around worthiness, fears around acceptance from other people. Your triggers are going to come from, if you're dealing with another person, house 8 has to do with sex, sexuality, intimacy. When you've got that Aries second house for you this year and next year, there's a huge amount of coming home to your sexual self as well, your sensual self, your body, and the unique way that your body allows you to be and experience life on planet Earth. Okay. So that's an exciting experience for those of you who have that Aries second house. The triggers are there drawing you toward the connection, and then they point you right back to yourself. Get your money together, get your self-esteem together, get your self-respect together. And if you don't like the way you feel in the bedroom, get your bedroom self together, because after this, it's about to be on and popping. Okay, amazing. Where are my third house people? Third house people, improving beauty and looks now. Very nice, Casey. I love that this is on point for you. Very good. All right, so where are my house 3 people? Raise your hand. Let me know you're here, house 3 people. Where are my house 3 people? Because you guys have a very specific and interesting journey. My house 3 people, where are you guys at with Aries on the 3rd house? Let me get back in the chat to the bottom. There we go. If you have Aries covering house 3, that's this area of your chart here. What you're dealing with in this union energy is going to be working with the energy of siblings, cousins, neighbors, your soul group. Okay. You're going to be dealing with, working with the energy of your soul family, your chosen soul family. These are people who are around you and your closest intimates, not lovers, but like I said, siblings, cousins, neighbors, these kinds of people. This 3rd house is also our conscious mind. It's our thought forms and our communication. If you've got union energy happening in house 3, okay? If this is house 3 for you, your triggers are going to come from house 9. And this is all about your belief systems. And what you're going to be noticing this year and next year is that your belief system is up for reconstruction. What you have been thinking about yourself, Aries, sign of the self, you're going to be noticing, I have got to change the way I'm thinking about myself, because if I can't change the way I'm thinking, I can't change the way I'm feeling. And if I can't change the way I'm feeling, life on earth is going to be miserable. Okay. Who are my 3rd house people who are working on their belief systems and their thought forms? Let me know. Some of you who have already done a lot of work in this area are going to be noticing that you are called, if you've got a business, 3rd house, 9th house axis is communication, PR, marketing. Some of you are going to be called to step into the limelight and recognize for yourself, if I don't step into the limelight, this business is going to suffocate and die on the vine. And so this union energy is calling you to get into visibility, promote yourself, share your story, get into communication about who you are. Where you're trying to repress that, hide that, squelch that, let me tell you something. These triggers ain't no joke. They're just going to get louder as we get closer and closer to January and in the first 6 months of next year. So this is the time to get support, get in community, figure out what you need to do in order to share yourself in a way that's aligned with you and be yourself. Okay. Kylie gets it. Emphasis on suffocating. Exactly. All right, let's go ahead. Let me talk to my house 4 people. House 4, raise your hands. Raise your glass if you're a house 4 person, because you've got union energy here. Where if Aries covers your 4th house, your union energy is going to be all about family, roots, home, family of origin, the place there where you live and call home. It's going to be about your parents, your ancestry, your genetic line. It's going to be all about the people who came before you and coming into union with them, taking what serves you and leaving what doesn't, so that you don't have to be cut off from them in order to thrive, but you don't have to be them in order to survive. This union energy is asking you to shed a lot of the belief systems and family patterns that no longer serve you or that block you from love. This 4th house energy may even ask you to relocate and move if the union energy is happening there, if you're living in a place where you simply cannot be yourself. Shout out to my 4th house people. I am one of you, one with you. 4th house Aries people, raise your hands. Where are you guys? Kylie says, I'll grab some wine on behalf of the 4th housers. Exactly. 4th house people, where your triggers are going to come from is out here in house 10. House 10 is where we have our reputation in the world. House 10 is the who we want to be when we grow up. It's the person that we want to present as in the world, and where we have triggers and things holding us back from that within our family systems and our family dynamics. You're going to find that those triggers are prompting you to take that next step, okay? And do that healing work with the family so that you can come home to yourself. All right, so that's houses 1, 2, 3, and 4. I want to thank my 1, 2, 3, and 4 people for doing your work. The more we can all collectively do our work, the easier the journey becomes for everyone. Houses 1, 2, 3, and 4 deal with our relationship to ourself. So if you've had Aries in this area, this information, what we just talked about, is all about not only you coming home to yourself in one of those 4 houses, but this is all about you getting to a place of being honest and congruent with who you are, becoming more authentic in your expression of who you are here on planet Earth in every way that matters. Sally, you are so welcome. It is a treat to be here with you. Yin to the yang, grab a chart and jump in, because we're going through house by house to talk about where this union energy manifests. Now we're going to move into the relationship houses. Where are my house 5, 6, 7, and 8 people? If you have Aries in houses 5, 6, 7, or 8, I'm talking to you. It's your turn. We're going to deal with what this means for you. Now, as I mentioned, Aries is the sign of the self. This union energy is happening in the sign of Aries. Aries covers at least one part of your chart. You're looking for the symbol that looks like this or the words Aries. It's because all charts have all 12 signs. It is somewhere there for you. Let's dive into house 5. Where are my house 5 people? If you've got Aries covering house 5, let me see it in the chat. Who are my house 5 people? Okay, amazing. House 5 people, that 5th house is all about dating, and creativity, creative works, creative offspring. It's the beginning of where we manifest things. It's the things that we want to create and generate from our inspired ideas that allow them to come into form into the 3rd dimension. If you've got Aries on the 5th house, you are needing to come into union with self when it comes to your creative works, your projects, your creative business, your art. You are coming into union. If you have children, 5th house governs children. Some of you need to go in and deal with your inner child and the issues that your inner child faced at the ages of your current children. If you're a mom, if you're a father, and your current children are 7 or 8 years old, whatever they're going through may trigger or be reminded, you may be reminded of it, of your own 7 or 8-year-old inner child experiences. This season of this union window is asking you to unblock love from that age and stage in your life by healing whatever the inner child trauma and wounds are. If you're a house 5 person, can I hear it? So exciting for you. Where your triggers are going to come from is house 11. House 11 is our house 5 is those creative projects, but house 11 is those creative projects turned into hopes, wishes, and dreams fulfilled. They turn into the fulfillment of our grandest and wildest visions. And what you may be struggling with as these triggers come in for you, if you've got the 5th house Aries, is feeling like there's a huge gap between what you want to create and where you want your art or your business or your creative projects to be in the world and where you're at today. And that gap is trying to help you step into union with yourself in a way that allows you to bridge it. Okay. So that's what we got for house 5. Moving on over here to house 6. House 6 there is all about health and well-being. House 6 is a tricky house. In the relationship world, house 6 represents when someone becomes a part of our day-to-day lives. When you have Aries here, Aries on any of the relationship houses can be tricky because Aries is the sign of the individual. When Aries sits on the relationship houses, when you have triggers, fears, traumas, or blocks that have not yet been healed, you can find yourself being independent in relationship settings in such a way that it turns other people off. It stops other people from feeling like they can be close because there can be a lack of vulnerability. And this is exceptionally true when we have Aries on that 6th house, which is where a person becomes a part of our day-to-day world. If you've got Aries on that 6th house, if you are looking for union, you're called to the connection, but the connection is mirroring back to you where your own blockages are. What you are being asked to do is to deal with the setup of your day-to-day life and change it in such a way where your union with self allows you to come into union with a partner. If you've got the day-to-day life where you work from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. at night, if you've got the day-to-day life where you're constantly Aries on the go, never sitting still, it's very difficult for another person to slot themselves in union with you when your life is only set up for Aries, sign of the individual. In order to connect with another person in a day-to-day way, we first have to connect with ourselves in a day-to-day way. And if there's no time for you to truly and deeply connect emotionally with your own spirit and your own self, this union window is going to point that out and reveal to you what you've got to shift in order for love to be able to land. Triggers for you are going to come from house 12. House 12 is self-sabotage. It's the energy, it's the placement of our subconscious mind. And during this union window this year and next year, what you're going to see and discover is that your limiting beliefs are getting in the way of you making those necessary changes to have healthy relationship with another person. And those limiting beliefs are what's keeping you on the go, 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 go hamster wheel and stopping you from deeply connecting with yourself and allowing a space for another person to come in. This union window energy is going to ask you to start making space for more deep connection with your true and authentic self, so that in making that space, you have the opportunity and the ability to connect deeply with somebody else. We cannot give anyone deeper connection, richer connection, realer, authentic connection than we've given ourselves. And if we haven't made the space to connect deeply with ourselves, we're going to find other people boomerang out because there's no space for them either. Where are my house 7 people? House 7 people, holla. If you've got Aries on house 7, this is such an interesting energy. Now, I have noticed a lot of people, not all, but many who have Aries on house 7, where this union energy is going to take place. House 7 is our relationship house, our traditional marriage house, our counterpart house, our business partnership house. If you've got Aries on house 7, what you may have noticed, several of my clients with Aries on house 7, where they have already done the work on themselves, several of my clients with Aries on house 7 are in fact coming into some sort of traditional third dimensional union with a counterpart. Now, this union window is still in early days. We haven't even gotten to the full peak of it. That's not even until January. It is 6 months away. But if you've got Aries on house 7, there's probably been a whole lot of loving coming your way. Lots of people who are interested in you, people resurfacing from the past, people jumping in the present, going, just barking up that tree, looking to figure out, hey, are you available? Can we do this? What's your status? Lots of flirtation going on, lots of opportunities coming in for people with my Aries 7th house. Now, again, notice the progression here. 5th house is dating. 6th house is day-to-day life. You may not have Aries on house 5 or house 6. You may only have it on house 7. But if you've had any of the shadow problems that I mentioned with house 5 or house 6, it's going to be real hard for someone to come in and commit to you. You got to clean up 5 and 6 if you want to get to 7. So be paying attention to those shadow triggers and triggers that I just mentioned for 5 and 6. If you've got Aries on the 7th, you want to make sure that you're not busy playing Mr. or Ms. Independent and not letting enough room in for somebody to come and partner and support you and be with you. One of the challenges and one of the triggers that you're going to have are going to come from house 1. What's house 1? The sign of the self. Why would the sign of the self deliver triggers if you've got Aries on the 7th house? What would the trigger be? An inability to be vulnerable, an inability to be authentic, an inability to be seen, an inability to be open. If you are struggling with any of those things, not that Aries is a shallow sign, it's not. But if you've got Aries on house 7, one of the triggers that you may find is that you are receiving feedback or mirrors from your connection that say you are not open as you could be or need to be for love to land. You're not as vulnerable. You're not as transparent, and you're going to need to make some course corrections in order to allow love energy to land for you. Okay, so that's Aries on house 7. Let's get to the final of the relationship houses. Please hold your questions to the end. Write them down because I'm going to answer all questions during the Q&A portion. The final of the relationship houses is house 8. House 8 here is a very unique and interesting house. It's the last of the relationship houses. If you've got Aries here on house 8, this is another interesting one because Aries is not comfortable with 5, 6, 7, or 8. It can do it, but it takes a lot of self-work and willingness to be in union with self, truly vulnerable, truly honest with self. Because if you cannot be that with yourself, it's impossible to be it with somebody else. 8th house. 8th house is sex. It is intimacy. 8th house is also our fears. 8th house is also the energy of what we call other people's money, OPM. Debt is in the 8th house. If you owe anyone money and you owing that money has stopped you from being able to be a free person, That's going to come up during this union window, and the triggers are going to come from house 2. House 2 is earned income. Do you need to raise your rates? Do you need to ask for a raise? Do you need to get another job? So this debt is done. If debt or money issues are the reason you are not able to be fully available for another person with Aries on the 8th house, the triggers around that are going to be super loud this year and next year. And they're prompting you to get your money right, get your money together if you've got an Aries 8th house. Now, remember, second house is also self-worth, self-esteem, self-respect. If you've been living inside of a body and that doesn't reflect who you know yourself to be on the inside, if you've given up on your physical body, if you have shut down sexually, if you have shut down physically, you're going to see that these 8th house triggers are going to be loud AF this year and next year. Why? Because the house of self-worth and self-esteem is going to be holding up a mirror and saying, until you love this body, love this skin, love the way the pleasure feels on this body and in this skin, if you can't pleasure you, no one's going to be able to pleasure you. And where you're trying to connect with another person and get them to be fulfilling on the physical level, unfortunately, with the Aries 8th house, if you can't get it for yourself, there's no one who's going to be able to get it for you. This 8th house Aries is a game changer. If you can come into union with yourself sexually, financially, and into your sovereignty, you're going to find that the capacity for intimacy with another human being blows right open. Okay, now those are my relationship houses. If my relationship house people could relate, let me know in the chat. Terry Lee says, oh God, I'm an 8th house and that is me. Yes, very nice. Okay. It says they are already loud AF. Alejandra says, yes, they're massive. I'm moving into it. Took on the parents' karma too. Does anybody want to trade houses like Monopoly? Queen of Water says, your house is your house for a reason. You are a leader in love and you can do this. Let's move on into the final 12 houses of the wheel, houses 9, 10, 11, and 12. I want to thank you guys for hanging in there. As soon as we get through these houses, we're going to talk about a way to deeper dive into this and navigate these triggers so that you're not in the place where these triggers are stopping you from having the kind of union with love that you want. As long as we're ignoring the triggers, these next 2 years are going to be a hot mess. I promise you, they can be easier, but you got to be willing to do the work. House 9, 10, 11, and 12 deal with our relationship to the world stage. They deal with our relationship to our ambitions. 9, 10, 11, and 12 deal with our relationship to work. If you've got Aries in house 9, let me hear it. Type 9 in the chat for me, please. House 9 is the house of second chances. It's the house of our potential. It's the house of our belief system and our faith. It's also the house where we go to and look to when it comes to not just belief systems, but you guessed it, religion, dogma, the belief systems that are traditional and tell us you can only be this way if you want to be a good person. If you've got Aries on house 9, what may be up for you at this time as a trigger has to do with awareness in your conscious mind of where you don't fit into dogmatic belief systems. And you may be really struggling to be yourself on the public stage because it may require some level of putting union with self in front of union with a faith practice or a religious practice that you have long since outgrown. There also may be with house 9 Aries energy. If you've got a second chance for anything that showed up in the last 6 months, second chance at love, second chance at a money situation or a career situation, if you've got a second chance, This third house is shouting at you. Remember, third house is conscious mind, about what happened in the past so you don't make the same mistake. It's not for you to avoid the opportunity. It is for you to say yes, and here's how I'm going to do it differently this time. Because when you know better, you can do better. It's also about making sure that your belief systems are aligned with who you really are, and you are not choosing to hold on to beliefs, limiting beliefs or otherwise. I mean, all beliefs create limiters inherently, but holding on to limiting beliefs that stop you from moving into house 10. House 10 is our career path. It's who we're meant to be in the world. It's our reputation that we earn from being our authentic self. If you've got Aries on house 10, chances are you have been asked to start a business in the last year. Something in your world has nudged you and prompted you to get up on it and get out here and serve the world according to your authenticity and your unique I am soul song. If you've got Aries on house 10, you're being asked to come into union with your ambitions, asked to come into union with your self-perception at its highest. Where the triggers would come from, you guessed it, family of origin. If who you know you're called to be supersedes and outflexes the family, the neighborhood, the people you grew up around, this is the period of time where you may be feeling triggers like, oh, who do I think I am? Or hearing people say, she done got too big for her britches. You may find that the family of origin says and does discouraging things, not intentionally, but certainly as a mirror to prevent you from stepping into your highest. With that 10th house Aries, this is your time to heal those childhood wounds, heal that information from family of origin so that you can actually be who you came here to be, not who they dictate you're supposed to be. You're not here as a leader in love to run with the pack. You are here to lead the pack. And that especially includes your family of origin. House 10 people, make some noise. Who's got house 10? Live to Love does. Yes. Conscious Connection knows someone with the house 10. Yes, very nice. I see you guys. You guys are out here doing it. This is amazing. Keep going. That 10th house Aries is a game changer. House 11. Where are my house 11 people? If you've got Aries here in house 11, I know you have waited. My house 12 people too. Hang in there. We're going to get to you in just 1 second. My house 11 people. Remember, house 11 is all about our hopes, wishes, and dreams fulfilled. It's our ambitions made manifest in the world of form. And house 11 is all about the helpful people, places, and friends that get us there. It's our coworkers, our colleagues, essentially. If you've got Aries on house 11, let me tell you something. It's a great place to have that because you've got ambition for days. You've got creativity for days. You've got ideas for days. The challenge you're going to face during this union window as the connection draws you toward it is that the connection is going to bounce right back to you, a huge mirror that says, if you want it, go get it. If you want it, create it. If you want it, stand for it. Where you are not doing that, you're going to find that you're creative. You're going to see this 5th house brings creative ideas, but no outlet. This with Aries, the sign of the self, the sign of ambition, with you needing to come into union with your own dreams. This is you putting pedal to the metal and taking a look at where you're using your creative life force energy and only applying it exclusively to your dreams and shedding commitments, shedding creative projects that do not fully aligned with that true, authentic soul song that is yours. There's so much pressure for people who've got the Aries 9th, 10th, or 11th house in the world of ambition, goals, dreams, career right now. It's coming through the connection. The connection may be mirroring it back to you. Certainly, if you've been dating, remember, fifth house is dating, or you have children that are living your dreams in any way, dating someone who's done what you want to do. Unfortunately, one of the triggers for the 11th house Aries person could be jealousy, with that Aries, with the fifth house being the opposing house. Jealousy is your trigger to know that you can have what they're having. You just got to be willing to put in the effort. All right, let's talk about this 12th house. Where are my 12th house Aries people? We're made our way all the way around the wheel. 12th house Aries people, so very special. This 12th house connects us with our spirit guides, with source, with the universe, with God. This 12th house connects us with our deep connections with, if you're Christian, Holy Spirit, or the Comforter. 12th house connects us also with our limiting beliefs. 12th house is the subconscious realm. In the shadow, it's known as the house of self-sabotage. So if you've got Aries here, what you're being asked to do is to come into union with the subconscious mind. That means you need to start making the subconscious conscious so that the tail can stop wagging the dog. If you've been repeating the same patterns over and over again and getting the same lackluster, mediocre, not what I want results, Aries on your 12th house is asking you to, once and for all, will you please get some help and get it together? The triggers are going to come from house 6. House 6 is all about our mentors and students. House 6 is also about that day-to-day living. You're going to start to notice where your habitual patterns and ways that you live day in and day out are actively sabotaging what it is you say you want or who it is you say you are. This is when your day-to-day life is going to become impossible to navigate. It will feel heavy. It will feel burdensome. It's going to feel like you can't make it through each day. There will be fatigue. There will be health issues. And it's all because there's something locked in the unconscious mind that just needs your attention so that you can start to direct your energy in authentic self, Aries I am ways, so that you can have that union with self, allow you to manifest your ability to connect straight in with source without any limiters, any limitations in your subconscious mind. 12th house people, you got your work cut out for you. We all do. Who noticed as we were listening that the triggers were real? And so I'm going to take a moment here and I'm going to be scathingly, I'm going to be brutally honest with a lot of people. Okay. And it took me, like I had to be this kind of honest with myself. I had to love myself enough to be honest and truthful about what was going on in my own world to say this to you. Here's the real deal. There have been a lot of people in our worlds who have been all gung-ho about being twin flames, about being light workers, about being twin souls, about having a high-level soulmate. They were all about that life. They felt super spiritually on track. They felt like they had it because they had found something that completely rocked and changed their world. And they got to a place of, evolution and consciousness because the love transformed them. And they were all about that life until new triggers activated old wounds, and they did not have the encouragement to take a deeper look and do deeper healing. They were all about that life until cycles started repeating in 2022 with louder consequences. And they told themselves, well, this must not be meant to be stories, with no one in their life to call them out on their BS and show them how they were perpetuating their own separation with a counterpart by being in separation with themselves. mirrors began to show up in their connection in such a way, and that showed them where they were stuck, and they did not believe what they saw could be evolved in themselves or their counterpart because they didn't have the right support or the right tools. Instead of believing it could change, they believed in a failure song. They believed in a not enough story. They were all about being twin flames until their counterparts' growth meant that they needed to work with a soulmate who could not and will not ever love them unconditionally. They were all about being twin flames until what their twin really needed was somebody to give them conditional loving to get the lessons and finally evolve. And instead of getting the support they needed to deal with their conditions that block love, because, ooh, this connection is a mirror, they threw their spiritual journey away. They were all about this being twin flames thing, being light workers thing, until it meant giving up their comfort zone at a job that they've outgrown or a marriage that hit their expiration date years ago. And because they did not have the support that helped them feel safe to change, they just stopped evolving altogether and tried to go back to being a caterpillar when their soul was decomposing so they could become a butterfly. For those of you that don't know, inside of that little cocoon, caterpillars don't grow wings, they decompose. That's how they become butterflies. And instead of doing spiritual work and seeing their healers and getting their coaching and getting their therapy, they did the opposite. They shut down. People who needed therapy decided, I'm just going to see if I can meditate my way out of this box. People who needed to do past life regression, people who needed to deal with intergenerational trauma, instead of dealing with it and getting the healing work done, they said, no, I'm not going to go in that direction. I'm just going to do what I've always done and then just be mad at them when I get the same results. People are all about this twin flame life until they get to a place where it is difficult to change. And this is the moment where you're going to see a lot of people return to their comfort zone instead of pushing toward their growth, because union with self is hard. It is not easy. They're going to return to their comfort zone instead of push to their growth if they don't know how to do it or don't have support to do it. And this is where you're going to start to see people fall off. You're going to hear them saying, being a twin isn't real. This is just made up. It was just a fantasy. I made it all up. Other people are making it all up. You're going to start to see this. You're probably already seeing it out here on YouTube, seeing it on the internet. This is when you're going to start to see people lean into the, oh, twins are toxic conversation, when their ability to let go of the conditions that block love stalls because the work became overwhelming. Because and you may find that their spiritual insight may be great, but their spiritual fortitude is shallow. And this is where you're going to find twins fall off. Because even as they're saying all of these things, oh, I don't believe in twin flames, I just made that up, that must have been a false twin. They know in their heart they don't actually believe that. They're just stuck. And they're saying it, hoping that saying it will make it true. Because in some cases, they don't know what to do. And in more cases, they're just too afraid to do what needs to be done. And this is when you know someone who has professed to let it all go. I let my twin go. I let it go. I'm not obsessed. I let it go. They haven't actually let it go. They're just running. They're running away from connection and ultimately running away from themselves. Ooh, somebody tell me you understand what I am saying. Tell me you have seen this and you get what I'm talking about. My guides told me ages ago, being a twin is like the spiritual Olympics, and it is not for everyone. What is asked of you as a twin, what is asked of you as a divine counterpart, what's asked of you when you've been initiated by love, And what you'll be able to experience as a result of what's asked of you isn't something every soul is built for. And while most of the training for the Olympics will happen in isolation, all true Olympians, as they get closer to the main event, they train as a team. They have a coach, they've got a trainer, they've got at least 2 physical therapist type people who help stabilize their body mechanics. And the one true things Olympians don't do when they top out or plateau, they do not keep trying to figure out what's not working by themselves. They get help. They don't keep training in the exact same way, getting the exact same results, and then blaming their body, AKA their counterpart or other people, when they cannot get past their wall. What they do instead is they get support. They don't try to fix it alone. So if you know that you're in a place where these triggers are loud AF and you can see the need to change, but you don't know how, and you know you're plateauing or repeating cycles, and you can be honest enough with yourself to admit that you can't tell the difference between letting go, surrendering, and running, then I have an invitation for you. If you know that you're ready to take the next step in your journey to union with yourself and you're unafraid to change, you just need strong support and a coach who can call you out lovingly on your BS and show you how to break past your plateau, then this is your invitation to join the 2022 Q&A with Kay season. Q&A with Kay this year is going to be focused on navigating union with self during a time when the pulls to your counterpart are extremely loud. Okay. Union with self during the time when the pull to union with counterpart is extremely loud. I'm going to put the link in the chat so you can enroll. If today's conversation was inspiring for you, I'm going to give you a way to jump into Q&A with Kay because we are starting very soon. We are starting next week. If my moderators could make sure that people have that link, that would be amazing. You can register over on the K-Moon Astro website, or you can register right through that link there in your chat. Okay. This 4-week mentorship program starts this coming Wednesday. As I said, it runs for 4 consecutive Wednesdays. It is online at 7:00 Eastern, and all sessions are recorded. Even if the time zone does not work for your schedule, there will be a way to leave your questions and get them answered. And we're going to move into a question and answer period in just a moment. So I'm going to give you a way to ask questions about what we talked about today, and you'll get a little taste of what Q&A with Kay is like. Okay, here's how you're going to know if Q&A with Kay is for you. So it's $144 USD, which is the price of a single 30-minute reading with me. But instead of 30 minutes, you're going to get over 8 to 12 hours worth of content. You're going to know this is for you if this union window has revealed blocks to union and led you to a more authentic connection or authentic separation. It is better to be in authentic separation than contrived union when neither party has done their work. Let me say that again. Contrived unions will always decompose on themselves, but authentic separations are the key first step to authentic unions. This is going to be for you if you're doing the work, but you feel really isolated. You're feeling alone. You felt confused, and you've fallen into the self-blame and shame spiral that I talked about at the beginning of our time today. You're in or done with the twin flame purification process, and you're wondering what comes next in connection for you. If you've never heard of this, my guides provided a channeling about it in 2020. That purification process hits when your twin is not available to you, but you cannot be available to anybody else. You can't move on, but you certainly can't be with them. That purification process is your initiation into removing your conditions from love so you can love without conditions, unconditional love. It's a painful process, a necessary step, but when you are free from your conditions for love, you can actually be in a place where love takes on a new meaning and a new role in your life. And that purification process is the first step. If you're done with that and wondering what comes next, Q&A with Kay is for you. If you want to uncover your personal blocks to union energy so that you can surrender more deeply or understand the divine purpose of separation during a union window time, which many of you have concurred, this is the issue. You want to sign up for Q&A with Kay. If letting go and running seem almost interchangeable for you, you can't tell which is which. So you've ended up doing nothing or in your head a lot, you're spinning. Join Q&A with Kay. We're going to talk through the differences and figure out what that means for you personally through the coaching sessions. And if you want a way to better understand these triggers that have come up and why they've come up as you get close to your counterpart and how to navigate them, Q&A with Kay is for you. Each session, there's 4 topics for each session. Registration closes in 4 days, so you don't have a lot of time. If you resonated with what we talked about today, you want to say yes to doing this now. I promise you it's going to change your experience of the next year and a half. Because like I said, we've got this energy until the end of 2023, in the beginning of 2024. If it's been heavy for these last 6 months, do not let it be heavy for the next year and a half. If it's been heavy these last 6 months, get these 4 weeks now so that as you move through the next 18 months, it can be lighter. You know what you're working on. You're not stuck. You're not plateaued. You can work with the energy, especially if you know that you and your counterpart just have a few things to work on. This is going to be great because it's going to start to remove those blocks between you and yourself, so that as that union with self energy takes hold, there's more space for somebody else to be there. Okay, here's what we're going to talk about during Q&A with Kay. We've got about 50 to 60 minutes. I looked at the content. It's way more than 30 to 40 minutes. We've got about 50 to 60 minutes of revelation, followed by 2 to 3 hours of open Q&A, channeling and coaching on any topic, private group. You bring it up, I'm going to answer it. We're going to talk about ending the purification process and opening to love again. For those of you who have completed that process, but your twin is still nowhere in sight, what does this union window with self energy mean when it comes to completing the purification process? How do you feel alive again? How do you connect again? We're going to talk about that in the first session. In the second session, we're going to reframe separation. There's a paradox in separation that my guides broke down for me. There are times, and I mentioned this already, when separation is actually union energy because it's authentic, because it's natural, it's organic, it's what both people need. We're going to talk in the third session about reframing union, the spiritual, physical, mental, and emotional levels of each type of union. Last year, in last year's union window download, my guide shared with us that there are 5 types of union: union with self, counterpart, source, mission, and soul family. You may be coming into union in one of those 5 during this time period, but if all you're reaching for is union with a counterpart or running from union with a counterpart, you miss the opportunities for union with self during this period of time. We're also going to talk about self-forgiveness and compassion. There's so much regret energy heavy in the collective right now, so much grief energy. What if I could have done, should have said, might have been better than I could have had? Let it go. I told you in the beginning of this session, and I'm going to repeat it for you now, you're not doing it wrong. And in this conversation, week 4, session 3, on August 10th, we're going to talk about how to work with self-forgiveness and compassion as a way of removing your blocks to union. Because as long as you're belaboring blame on yourself, you're going to be in a place where you are blocked to love. And finally, in the final session, we're going to talk about balancing the triggers that we just talked about today. So remember, we went through all 12 houses, and each house has a way that union energy is made up in the chart. In this final session, we're going to talk about the triggers and how to work with them for each house and how to work with it for each group, counterpart, source, self, soul group, and mission. We're going to talk about dealing how, when those triggers come up in each of those places, how to work with them so that that union with self energy can be anchored and strong. Spots are very limited. Lots of people from my private list have already signed up. This is an opportunity for you to get into union with an unparalleled, high level set of people in the soul group, people who have chosen for themselves. Listen, I'm not giving up before I get to the Olympics. People who have chosen for themselves. I see my own BS and I am sick of it. I'm ready to break through. These are people who, when the going got tough, they didn't give up on their twin flame connection. Instead, they got from out of the twin flame obsession line and they jumped over here into the true spiritual journey. These are the people who tend to show up for Q&A with Kate. And if that's you, I want you in. You're invited. Let's do this and we can do it together. There's a bonus for the first 77 people who show up. These people are going to get access to Q&A with Kay 2022, 2021, and 2020. And over half of those spots are already gone. They are limited. So if this is something you want to do, my strong recommendation would be to get with Q&A with Kay tonight. Do not wait. If you know that you would like to have access to this content, there's the link to join. Do it now because I want you to have access to the Divine Mirrors content, 7 spiritual mirrors that twin flames may experience to understand how to work with triggers, and welcoming home the runner in you. That's the 2020 content. This program closes in 4 days. And that bonus material brings the total value of the program to $465. Last year's program was 5 weeks, $177. This year is 4 weeks, $144. 2020 was $144 at 4 weeks as well. You're going to get all of it if you're one of the first 77 people for $144. Okay. So if this is something you want to do, enroll now. Don't wait. Even if you don't know if you can work it with your schedule, you'll get access to the recorded material, the online community where you can ask questions, and I'll be able to answer your questions during the live sessions. Okay. I'm excited. I know you guys are going to love this particular year's Q&A with Kay. It's going to be full of, like I said, a high-level soulmate group, and I can't wait to have you in. Please enroll now if you're called to it. We are now going to jump in to the question and answer portion of our content this evening. So if you'd like to ask questions about what we talked about today, any of it, then by all means, please drop your questions in the chat now. I'm going to be hanging out for about 30 or so minutes, asking questions, but the real place where we do true deep dives is going to be in Q&A with Kay. This is when we do coaching. This is when we deep dive into what people are experiencing when it comes to their divine counterpartship mirrors and where the blocks are so they can come into that union with self energy. Okay. Talk to me about what questions you have. Let me hear them. Let's get into it. Let me come back to the chat. You guys are such great sports. Let me keep that. I'm going to keep the chart that I was working with open. In case you guys have questions about charts. Where is my YouTube chat? There is my YouTube chat. Let's get into it. Awesome. Okay. Kim Khalees, I just signed up. Am I in time for the bonus? I don't know. I don't have an assistant counting them. I know half of them were gone before I started today's live. So I'm not sure where we're at now, but I do know that if you're really called to this, I wouldn't wait if you want the bonuses. Even if you don't get the bonuses, you still get like 12 hours worth of content and time with me for 144 USD. There's no other place you get that amount of coaching and private time and channeled guidance for so cheap. Okay. Divine Cosmonaut says, I got a lot out of 2020 Q&A. Well, I hope you join us for 2022, Divine Cosmonaut. Lynette says, Kay, this has been enlightening and uplifting. Thank you for doing this. You are welcome, Lynette. And I'm going to say to everyone once again, if you are in separation during a union window, you are not doing it wrong. There's a divine reason for that. I broke it down at the start of this broadcast. And if you need to hear it again, it's going to be right here on the YouTube channel for you, just in case you forget. Divine Cosmonaut asks, is it common for both counterparts to share a rising sign in houses? It's like we are knocking it out together with Pluto in the seventh. Yes, it can be. There are all kinds of astrological patterns that show up between divine counterparts. That's just one. Pauline Salia, what day of the week? Wednesday at the same time, tonight at 7 p.m. That's correct, Paulina. Pauline, it is Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 12 a.m. Greenwich Mean. If you are Pacific time, we are looking at 7 minus 3, is that 4 p.m.? Queen of Water. If Aries is in the 6th house, can I get out of being independent? Yes, Queen of Water. It's all about finding a way to be vulnerable and transparent, which is one of Aries's gifts. The Aries energy loves to share itself and does so with a naive joy without worrying about being made fun of, without worrying about what other people think. And so that's one of the gifts of the Aries 6th house is it allows itself to be truly seen and truly vulnerable. And when you can do that with authenticity, Aries does realize it does need other people. It doesn't want to do everything by itself. It loves connection. And so where you can share that with those in your day-to-day life, you will find that that opens the gateway for love to come closer to you. Blue flame integration. What month is the biggest union energy? That's going to be unique to each person and where the divine counterparts sit in their chart. If you would like me to look at that, I would suggest you get a private reading for you and your connection. You can certainly look at it one-on-one, just in your own chart. Because it's not going to be a specific month. It may be more so 2022. It may be more so 2023, depending upon what's going on in your chart. That's fine, Pauline. Sign up next Wednesday as you're ready. Let's see. Kylie says, what will it look like at the moment for our partners, plural, if they deny doing the work, if they move into escapism? So Kylie, I'm going to ask you to tell me in the chat, when you have moved into escapism, and anyone else in the chat, I want you to join me in the answer to this question. When we have moved into escapism, when we are not doing the work, when we have insisted that the work isn't for us, when we have insisted that somehow it contradicts who we really are, when we have insisted that I'm too good for therapy or I'm too shy for therapy. I don't believe in spiritual woo-woo stuff, so I'm just going to ignore it and pretend like it's not a problem. When we work in the world of denial, repression, and escapism, what happens? What do you guys know happens? Put it in the chat. Will you post this on YouTube? Yes, France, I'll post the invitation to the program on YouTube, and this video will remain live. Rosie says, so if we work on self, but counterpart doesn't, what can we expect for each of us? Doesn't matter. You guys share an energy system. You keep moving, the energy and the connection continues to heal, continues to grow. Conscious Connection asks, why are we asked to trust in this connection? You're not. You're not asked to trust that person. You're asked to trust love, Conscious Connection. You're asked to trust that love wouldn't bring you this far to leave you. You're asked to trust that love has a healing power to it. You were activated by love. Love is what is going to support you, not the person. And this is why I made the distinction very early on in this broadcast. If we want to understand how union window energy works, we have to separate the person from the connection. Kim, will the union energy change signs in our charts counterclockwise in a few years? Yes. So the union and the next big major union window opens in 2028. There's going to be smaller union windows that move in between now and then, but these every 7-year ones, there was 2015, there's 2023, and then there's going to be 2028, 2029, that period of time where it's like a 2-year period of time of pull, but there's smaller ones that last for several months, and they'll come up in between, and I'll talk about them as we move through the astrological lunations in the coming years. Okay. Queen of Water, we love each other in 5D, but his ego in 3D consciousness. You're not the first person to say that. And this is why so many people are taking that authentic Aries union with self cue to be in a place where, okay, they're mirroring back a ton of ego to me. Where do I need to get in union with myself and understand my own ego? What's the purpose of ego? Why ego? What is there for me to learn from my own ego? What are they showing me? What is the connection teaching me? Transforming shadows. I came in here so lost and now I feel so much better. Hey, transforming shadows. That was the point. Thank you for letting me know I did my work tonight. You are so welcome for the reaffirming words. It was my pleasure to deliver and share them with you. I'll say them again for anyone who needs to hear it. You're not doing it wrong. You are right where you need to be. Trust what love is showing you. Keep de-armoring yourself. Rosie, so what happens when counterpart doesn't do the work? Does it affect us? I definitely answered that already. Kylie says, what caffeine drink did you have today? You know, I'm on a little good meditation routine. That's what's up. Cute little lamb wants to know what's the platform. All classes are held on Zoom. Let's see what's going on here. Pauline says, could we share the replay with others when and if they are ready? Nope, Pauline, I make that very clear the minute you enter the program, because this is a safe place for people who paid to be in a safe place to share what's going on with them. Nothing can be shared if you didn't actually pay for the course and the privilege to be shared with. Okay, Alejandra, I see that lovely little picture, that lovely little emoji. Let's see what's going on. Tina says, in separation with twin and now forced to deal with family issues. Hey, we talked about that when we went through the 12 houses and how to detach from twin and family to heal self. Will this help me with union? It's going to help you with coming into union with yourself, Tina. That's what this union window is all about. The divine counterparts meeting up with the sign of the sign of the self, Aries. It's going to help you resolve what's blocking your connection to yourself. Okay. So that you can see it, name it, and begin to work on it. And so, like I said, the heaviness of these first 6 months of the year don't have to be the heaviness of the next 18 months, because this energy is with us until the end of 2023, beginning of 2024. If this has been hard, the first 6 months of this year, and you found that you walked in the way somebody just said, I walked in feeling down, heavy, and now I feel a lot lighter. Like I understand. If you walked into the first 6 months of this year feeling heavier, these 4 weeks are going to make it so that the next 18 months are a lot lighter. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. You guys are actually talking. I see what you guys are saying here in the chat. If we're doing the work, but twin doesn't, they're in repression mode. What happens? Kylie answers her own question. Karma. Yes. That energy mirrors. Transforming says the universe forces us. Bridget says betrayal, all sorts. Pauline says, they say what has been working for them, no need to change it up. Pauline, you can already see the signs in their life, what has not worked for them and why there are certain things they want that they don't have. Pretending that they're okay with not having it is only causing them pain, and you can see it. You keep going. You don't stop just because they're stopped. Tower moments happen. Yes. Let's see what else is going on. I get it. Blue flame, it might be time to just take that break, come home to yourself. Whether you find you've been in the connection in such a way where your light is going out, where you feel that spark within you dying, when you've been in the connection in such a way where all you can feel buried underneath the exhaustion is like a little spark of love. It's time to take a break. It's time for union with self, and Q&A with Kay will give you exactly that. Okay. Hope, Love, and Sunshine says, all that you said today and always is and has been extremely true. I'm so glad that you feel that way. It resonates in the truth vibrations in your energy. Conscious Connection says, oh, trust love. That's so beautiful. You get it, right? Conscious Connection, you get it, that it's not about trusting the other person. It's about trusting love. Love brought you here. Love will not leave you here. You have to keep going. Let me tell you something. You guys, if you get to this place and you just like, oh, nothing works, I'm just giving it up, I have to let it all go. Maybe it was just a toxic obsession. There's something wrong with me. That's the equivalent of doing all the training for a marathon or all the training for the Olympics and never going to trials, never showing up to compete, never showing up for your events. And that is, in fact, masochistic. That is, in fact, self-abuse. Keep going. Where love has led you will always be into the light. And if it is not light yet, it's because you're not there yet. You have to keep moving. Hope, Love, and Sunshine says, I have Aries in the 5th house and Juno and Aries in the 5th house also. Could you please elaborate on the meaning of Juno and Aries in the 5th? No, you can do that in a private reading. I won't be interpreting personal charts or placements during Q&A with Kay or during this live stream. If you need help understanding personal placements within your chart, having to do with the planets, having to do with the way they all work, that's what private readings are for. There are one-on-one time to have a deep dive into your chart and what it means for you. There's not going to be enough information I can pull from that without looking at your chart to be useful for you and wasting everyone else's time because it's too unique. Okay, let's see what's going on. 2028, Kylie, I love your emoji. Transforming says, wow, 2015, which month? I don't remember. I just remember the counterparts met up in Virgo and the energy could be felt all of 2015 and all of 2016. Hope, Love, and Sunshine. Thank you, Kay, for being there for us. You got it, baby. Being there for you is also being there for me. You're welcome, Transforming Shadows. High fives, Alejandra. Big love to you guys and to King. KC was 2016 away for incoming twins. Yes, ma'am. So was 2022. France Lemieux. Yes, very helpful. I'm happy to hear it. Thank you for answering all of our questions. You're welcome, Kim. Does anybody else have questions? Questions about the program, questions about today's content, questions about, channeled information you'd like about the journey from my guides? Now's the time to get it in. If you want me to look at, if you're curious about something, don't hold back. Kylie says, so everyone that is pretending will have their ass handed to them by 2023. I'd say, life has a way of delivering messages. Kylie, as you've seen, when we don't check the mail, life will send another piece of mail. When we don't check the mail the second time, life sends someone to knock on the door. When we don't let that person in, universe has that person break in the window. And when that person comes to tap on the shoulder and we're still ignoring messages, as somebody already said, tower moments come, we get whacked by the 2x4. I prefer just send me a piece of mail about what needs to get done. Do not come hit me with 2x4s, please. And thank you. Let's see what goes on here. Victoria Love, my lights going out for sure. Just dealing with energies. Q&A with Kay will definitely recharge you. So please join. The community of light workers and divine counterparts that show up is so uplifting. And just hearing other people's stories and experiences reminds you how uncrazy and not alone you really are. And just that validation makes more room for you to express your unique light and creativity in your day-to-day life. Some of the heaviness is coming from the place of feeling like, what's wrong with me? And when we can shed that storyline, shed that belief system, we free up immense amounts of power in our space to be able to serve, live, love, lead. And if you want that for your next 18 months instead of what the last 6 months have looked like, Q&A with Kay is how you get it. Sign up now. Kim says, I feel like I just have to be happy within self and open to connection without pushing. That may in fact be true. Trust your intuition. Utilize this union window energy to figure out where the blocks are. I told you what the triggers are. The triggers are pointing to the truth of where your work is. Leverage it. Hope Glitterati, anything you recommend to prepare for the sessions? Literally nothing. Put them in your calendar. That's all you have to do. That is all you have to do. Just put them in your calendar, plan to show up. Conscious connection. I have a question. Why are you so amazing? Oh, that's so sweet. I respect your confidence to have a public platform and live in your truth. It's a mirror to what I can be too and what I am. Conscious connection, baby. Let's get it. Let's get it together. Come on. You, me, the other light workers here, we're all doing this and we are doing this together. Okay. Love you guys. It's been so much fun to hang out. You guys are asking such great questions. I can take just a few more. That's right, Kylie. No regrets. Oh my gosh. I saw such a fun little what was it? I saw such a fun post today from one of the YouTubers that I follow. And it was from who was it? Real Oh gosh, let me see if I can find it. It was such a good post. I was like, now this is the reminder we all need. And he had the post said something like, okay, listen up, people. Here's the truth. None of us are getting out of here alive. Not you, not me. So here's the deal. Live like you actually fucking give a shit. Go get that, go do that business, go make your art, hug someone, share your heart, be yourself. Because at the end of the day, everything you didn't do will haunt you, but it's everything that you did do that's going to make a life worth living. I loved that post because the reality is, ain't none of us getting out of here alive. That is the truth. Okay. Let me see what else is going on here. Kylie, yes, no regrets, y'all. Kylie gets it. Kim Khalees, does the counterpart find someone else because of the energy we are in? Is this a direct call? Kim Khalees, let me tell you right now, let me tell you one more time, and let me say it again for everybody here in the chat. And I'm going to say it until your ears bleed with hearing it. Kim Khalees, you didn't do anything wrong. You didn't fuck this up. You didn't fail. Kim, you didn't get yourself into an energy that pushed your person away from you. What's happening is happening as a direct result and a reflection of what you need and what they need, what you're here to do in leadership and what they're here to do in leadership, what you're here to learn and what they are here to learn. If there's something happening with them being with somebody else, and that's a mirror for you about where your growth is, because I have found for twins who find that there's like a karmic soulmate or soulmate somewhere involved on either side of the connection, that soulmate is not just a mirror for your twin, it's also a mirror for you. If there is growth for you in understanding what that's about for you, then by all means, do some healing work around it. But that's not coming up because you did it wrong. It's coming up because you have more love you can live in, and the universe is trying to help you brick by brick remove the blocks so that you can experience it. More often than not, what I've actually found is counterparts moving toward a soulmate because that soulmate can love them conditionally. When we have conditional love for another person, anything does not go. We have way stronger boundaries. We have way more willingness to pull people up short when they're messing up in our space. When we love someone conditionally, we call them out with the quickness. When we love unconditionally, we are more willing to live and let live, to be more allowing, to be more receptive. And sometimes that's not conducive to growth. Allow, if there's somebody else in the energy, Kim, allow the lessons to unfold in the way that they need to, and look for your mirror in it from the perspective of where is my growth and where can I de-armor from love, not from the place of somehow I messed up in this energy and pushed them toward a soulmate. Got it? M. Solomon, July 2014 activation. Cool, cool. TB says, I thought my twin was just a catalyst. I let him go and moved on. I took my attention and focus that was on him and put on myself. And I've grown leaps and bounds. Now he's back. Crazy, crazy. Hey, it can go that way for sure. It can definitely go that way. Mystic Rose, thanks, Kay. Thank you, Mystic Rose. I keep saying it. You're the hardest working twin guide out there. Oh, that's so sweet. Please take a nice Caribbean vacation on us. Oh. I did just get a small vacation, which was really nice. So thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, amazing. Other questions? Let me see here. When or how does separation end? Great question, Amethyst Dragonfire. It's different for every set of twins. I've seen twins who were together for 2 years, separate for 18, come back together after 18, 20 years and stay in union since. I've seen twins make the journey in a total of 3.5 years time. I've seen twins make the journey in 7 or 8 years time. What's most common I have seen is somewhere around the 6 to 8 year mark. These cycles of Jupiter and Juno's movement tends to move us where we need to be. The question isn't about when or how to separation end. The question is really when and how can you be in union with yourself? And that's the lesson of this union window. Focus on the lesson in the classroom at hand, and you'll be on track for whenever separation is scheduled to end for you. Alejandra, is the idea of fairness involved in union, like a transactional type of fairness? I have not seen that to be the case, Alejandra. I don't fully understand the question, but I'm going to go with the understanding that I have. I'm going to go with the answer no. Blue Flame, we are never truly separated. Hey, coming in with that light work. Yes, Blue Flame, we're in separation with our true authentics. There you go. Blue Flame, you want to teach these classes? You want to come? You want to come teach these classes? Yo. And this is why Q&A with Kay is so powerful, is because there's people who will chime in answer to your questions to reflect back to you where the mirror is so that you can de-armor yourself from love. Separation serves a purpose. That's exactly right. And that's what we are going to talk about. I think it's class number 2 in Q&A with Kay program, all about the divine purpose of separation and reframing it. There you go. Conscious connection. Oh, wow. Such deep insight. Yes, baby. This is what we do at Q&A and K. Learning of where he is with his partner ripped the last Band-Aid off so that I can really focus on myself and my life, not his. Girl, you see how that blessed you. You see how separation actually created union. You see how that separation facilitated a coming home to self. Sometimes these things aren't happening to us, they're happening for us and through us. There you go, conscious connection. Very, very nice. Okay. Terry Lee, what if we love the twin flame unconditionally, but it feels like they love conditionally? Is that a mirror? It can be the mirror of opposites, Terry Lee. And it can be that you actually need to provide some conditional loving as a mirror in the connection so that you are not in the place where your light and your life force energy is getting sucked out. There may be better boundaries that are needed. And I talk about those mirrors in the bonus to Q&A with Kay. That's the Q&A with Kay 2021 program, the Divine Mirrors program. So you definitely want to get access to that by being one of the first 77 to sign up for Q&A with Kay. Jamie Ripple, wow, amazing point. Yes. See, you guys are getting it. You guys are really understanding it. So I want you guys, we're going to wrap up here now. I want you guys to tell me in the chat, what's one thing you got out of our conversation today? What's one thing, either something that shifted in your perspective, shifted in your energy, something you learned, new mindset wise? What's one thing you got out of our conversation today? Drop it in the chat for me and we'll wrap up after I hear these things. Thank you so much for being willing to share these things with me. I'm inspired by the way I can support and help you. It's a reciprocal feedback loop. I am fed when you are fed. So let me know what you got out of this, either a mindset shift, an energy shift, or let me know if you got some level of emotional state change out of our conversation today. Tell me what you got out of this. Okay. Cute little lamb. Sometimes conditional love feels better. I understand. I understand. On both sides of the connection, it can feel better for both people. You can be conditioned in loving conditionally, where it's just more comfortable to be with somebody who loves you conditionally. And you can be conditioned to loving other people conditionally, where it's just very hard to love someone without expectation. Kylie, I've been going through it, but yesterday was an interesting situation. I'll send you a note. Okay, Kylie, can't wait. Hang in there, Kylie, hang in there. Let's see. And really, if we think that we're separate, what are we needing or scared? There you go, baby. If we believe that the separation is real, it's because there's a need that's going unmet. And the first place to get needs met is within ourselves. Okay. Let's see. Love you too, Natasha. Thank you. Thank you, Terry Lee. Alejandra, that resonates hard. Mirror of opposites. Yeah. I covered all of that in the Divine Mirrors program from Q&A with Kay last year. Amethyst Dragonfire. Thank you, Kay. Makes sense, but I am so confused. Oh, baby, why? And I am fighting with my family. Oh, no. So many twin flame dreams and nightmares. I'm overwhelmed. Come to Q&A with Kay. The coaching will help you move some of the energy so it's not swirling and stuck, but starting to clarify for itself, Amethyst. And to King Heart, big purple heart to you as well. I need to work on union with self. I am motivating. Yes, Tina C. Come work on union with self. That's what this Q&A with Kay in 2022 is all about, navigating union with self during a union window. Okay. Fran says, how to focus my energies. Okay, so now you guys are telling me what you've learned. Let me see. Let me see what you guys learned. Let me see what y'all learned. Let me see. I want to know. I want to know. Okay. Let's see. Fran says, I learned how to focus my energies with my astro charts and what to read. Yes, very good. Blue Flame says, push this baby out. I have to push through this heavy energy. Yes. And Blue Flame, you don't have to do it alone. That's the thing. If your light is going out, you have plenty of people with light around you who can help sustain you. Don't try to do this by yourself. That's the shadow side of Aries energy, is thinking you have to do it all alone. And this union window coming up in Aries is having all of us have to confront that shadow in at least one of the 12 areas of life. Okay. Conscious connection. I'm not doing anything wrong and it's all about me. Hey, conscious connection. You wrote the summary. Thank you, conscious connection. That's a perfect summary. Yeah, you can let yourself be the star of your life. That's kind of what the point of this union window is. Kim, peace of mind, knowing it's all going to be okay. Amen. It is all going to be okay. Yes, Kim. So glad you got there. Good. Hope, love, and sunshine. I got confirmation of what I need to do. Whew, thank God. Meaning what the trigger and current obstacle to my Aries house is. Confirmation big time. Thank you for letting me know that I validated your intuition and what you're seeing in your life. That was my intention for this. I'm so happy to hear it. Making me crazy. Yes, the comfort zone doesn't feel comfortable anymore. I'm between a rock and a hard place. Yes, that's exactly right. Hey, listen, that's what the first 6 months of 2022 were supposed to get you to. I'm so glad you said that. Oh, Glitterati got First Look Within. Kylie is singing the Let It Go song. Blue Flame says there's one need that's been burning since our energy fired back up in the 5D again. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Paulina says, please enlarge the bonus to all who sign up tonight. Oh my goodness. I'll consider it, Paulina. I will definitely consider it. Okay. That to extend the bonus for everyone who signs up tonight. That would be awesome. I would love to have more of you join Q&A with Kay. All right, amazing. Okay, let's see what else is going on here. Alejandra says, intuition and hoping he helps in 3D to clear things up. You might need to actually request your clarity. When Aries is confused, it asks. It's like, hey, this may be a naive question, but hey, I'm curious about this. Aries is a very curious sign and it doesn't hold back. When it has questions or interests, it will just ask. Go for it. If you need clarity, union with self, go get it for yourself. Okay. Pauline says to be in unity must be whole. Okay, very good. The Aries house of self-union work, as well as the opposite house of triggers. There you go, Isha. Nice. Confirmed the inner work and clarified where the focus needs to be. Very good. I'm so happy to hear it. Okay. Very good, Isha Shah. Conscious connection. I'm going to book a much needed SRT that I saw on your channel first. So glad you got that. And I'd love to do Q&A with Kay if I can or am led. Hey, the invitation is open, Conscious Connection. I would love to have you. Blue Flame, can you do another seminar for the fall? The fall is when I'll host a star school and we'll do astrological stuff together in the fall. Q&A with Kay is a once annual. Okay. Amazing. Alejandra, what's the problem? What are you missing here? Okay. Oh, you did try to get clarity. Maybe I will try again. Yeah, it's about you standing for your needs, Alejandra. Amazing. Well, this was so much fun. It was a pleasure and a treat to hang out with you guys. I want to thank you all for being with me today. This live conversation that we had will remain here on the YouTube channel. So if you want to come revisit it at any point in time, you can. It was a taster and warm up for Q&A with Kay, which you can certainly enroll in. You've got 4 days to enroll before we close the doors. Do not wait. Get your seat now. I would love to have you there. So much fun to chat with you guys tonight. Thanks everyone for being here. And thank you to my amazing moderators for helping to direct traffic. You guys are rock stars. I deeply, deeply appreciate your time, your energy, and support of the chat. I know it's a labor of love for you guys, but I just want to say what you bring in terms of light, I could not do what I do without my amazing moderators. So thank you guys. And thank you to everyone who encouraged someone here in the chat today. As you can see, everyone could use a little pat on the back, a little bit of upliftment. So I'm so grateful you took the time to be a light today to someone. And I look forward to seeing you in Q&A with Kay. Take great care, everyone, and bye.